Okay, let's get back to the top stories. Nigeria's acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, has signed 2 new laws to ease access to credit for small and medium enterprises, which was sent to him by the National Assembly last week. The first has to do with the Collateral Registry Act, seeking to ensure that medium and small enterprises register their motor vehicles, equipment, and account receivables in the National Collateral Registry and could use same moving forward as securities for loans. That's the first part. Then they have the Credit Reporting Act, which is the Siamese of the first one, which provides for credit information sharing among all the credit bureaus and lenders such as banks, other financial institutions, telecommunication companies and retailers who share credit information about their customers with the lenders and within the credit bureau to ensure that credits are easily accessed and reduce the risk of delinquent loans. This will address some of the problems within the industry, but the conversation's already on the street. Meantime, these 2 new laws will now replace the central bank's guidelines on National Collateral Registry, the NCR, and the credit bureaus. So this is going to be some work this morning with the central bank team putting their heads together and floating the new law that's been, the 2 new laws that have been signed into by the acting president. Then you find the composition of the Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council, which was also done late yesterday. The head of that team, as the chairman, is the acting president himself. Then you have the Honorable Minister in charge of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Nelama, as the vice chairman for the public sector. And across the table, he'll be sitting face-to-face with Aliko Dangote, who is the vice chairman of the Advisory Council, representing the private sector. Now it's going to be a room full of bigwigs. 37 members are involved. So if you add the chairman, the vice chairman, and the 2 chairmen together, you're looking at about 42 people, which include the central bank governor, the head of the MBS, the business leaders, technocrats, some names you've heard before, and those who are in the industries. Okay, meantime, let's get into the refining issue here. The dilemma of refining the refineries. The Senate on Tuesday tells Dr. Ebekachiku's Petroleum Ministry to suspend the process of quote-unquote concession in Port Harcourt refinery to Egypt, ENI, and Owando, Nigeria. An ad hoc committee was quickly formed to be headed by Senator Abubakar Kyari to investigate the deal that includes Egypt, ENI building a new refinery in the Niger Delta at the cost of about $15 billion US, a new power plant, and to assist in the repairs of the Port Harcourt refinery. But we got information that that was not a concession. It was actually an arrangement. We're going to try and understand that relationship as we try to get Dolapo Oni, who is the head of energy research at EcoBank, to talk to us this morning. Dolapo, good morning. We thank you very much. We understand you are really busy out of the office, so you can just take us through this conversation via telephone.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, both.
Thank you. Let's try to untie this very quickly. Was this a concession or a partnership arrangement between the NPR, IGPNI, and Owando?
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing. The Senate committee essentially is trying to react to some allegations that there wasn't enough transparency in the choice of ENI and Owando for that concession. But again, don't forget, this did not come out of just happenstance. There's been several trips to some of the home countries of the IOC to try and get them to participate in helping to repair these refineries. And I don't think we saw any significant interest from many of the other ones except for ENI. And that's why I believe they were selected. Another angle to this as well, too, is the fact that I think immediately the announcement was even made by the Petroleum Ministry. Some of the industry associations had already voiced their disagreement because of the involvement of Owando, who they said does not belong to any of their unions, and they were not happy with that particular agreement. So there are several angles, I believe, that are currently behind the Senate decision to forestall this or to force this particular concession.
Well, you are an industry expert. Do you think this concession, as it were, should have gone through the BPE and perhaps the Economic Council or the National Assembly? Do you think a Minister of Petroleum acted unilaterally in this particular transaction?
I mean, to be sincere, I don't think there's a huge problem here. There isn't that much interest from any of the IOCs, really, to be sincere, to work on the refineries or to work with the refineries. There is some local interest, but let's be sincere as well, too. There is no local funding capacity. They are going to have to go and look for funds outside the country. So where you have an IOC who is interested, ready to spend 15 billion and ready to help in repairing the refineries, you might be tempted to quickly make such announcements again. So that's why I don't really fault the Petroleum Ministry. But perhaps, yes, they should have gone through a concessioning, maybe a sort of bid process or a concessioning process.
Well, Dr. Akpo, we're getting, of course, feedback. Folks watching the show and listening to the conversation. Of course, it's already out there on Twitter, on social media since yesterday. Ayo Ekpo, at Ayo Ekpo, Twitter handle says, well, a partnership